Now, Kinect was something that Xbox talked a lot about. I think originally, if you really asked them, I think they hoped that Kinect was going to be bigger with the core gamers, and it ultimately sort of ended up being. Glenn, I know, for the core games, I mean, some people have added voice prompts and things like that, but I mean, it hasn't become a big sort of focus, I think, for developers. Do you think, new input devices and new ways to play games, is that something generally that is exciting to you, or do you think, the standard controller works and we don't need to do anything?
Well, we're always looking for something else that we could put into the game. The problem is if, the Kinect takes off, but, Sony's doesn't,
Right.
What are we going to do? We're going to make one game better than the other, and, that's really hard for us, right? And because we want them to have parity.
Yep.
Now, on the other hand, I want to get back to the games because I would never underestimate the consumer, right? Because they are very smart. And they will notice the difference in graphics. They will see the difference in the storytelling, in the animation. I look at movies, and I think that after Polar Express came out, they stopped making sort of these real live-looking humans. And they went back to Shrek. And the video game industry kept going. We kept going, and I think that it's a mantle for us to take, that we can actually be the ones that sort of leapfrog the movie industry and take over the mantle of best looking, most realistic. And I think that if these systems have the power that we all hope they do, that we should be able to do it. That uncanny valley is not becoming so uncanny.
Like what Carmack talked about at QuakeCon, where he's like, hey, look, you guys think that we're getting close, we're not getting close. And and then he goes into a very, detailed explanation that's very intellectual of like, hey, we're not remotely close. We can do so much more with the power of these things. And it's not just special effects, it's details, it's better furnishing in the levels, it's better animations, all those things.
Pores, it's tearing, it's
So
sweating.
it's the emotion, and we talked about this when we're talking about VGAs, about, games kind of affecting us emotionally, and the idea that you think, storytelling.
Yes. Storytelling and acting. I mean, we've been talking about it for years that the video game industry would be the next great medium to tell a story. And that, people will walk out of a movie these days and just go, the story was great, the acting was terrible, right? And they're doing it with video games. I see it daily on Twitter, right? And unfortunately, sometimes it's good. But, and I think that we're starting to see that with the storytelling. We're not seeing it so much on the acting so much, but, that's something that I look forward to, is starting to get there with the directing of the actors and seeing the facial movement and all that. To like you said, the emotion just in the way you move your eyes or your lips.
Well, and then also I think we're seeing games, this year you look at like Mass Effect and Walking Dead games that, and even Black Ops 2 that, have branching storylines and allow you to sort of have choice and consequence within the game to really have this sort of emergent narrative, which I think seems to be a trend that, we'll see on all the systems going forward, is that these games will shape themselves to how you play them.
We'll have 500 people on a game now.
Well, that's part of the challenge, right? It's like, how big are these teams going to have to get? How many different modes? Or, you got multiplayer, single player, co-op. It's like, is there going to be a fourth mode that every game's going to have in the next gen?
Well, it seems like
DLC,
we're
I guess, is a
seeing
big thing.
Less games, but the games are getting bigger.
Yep.
We're not seeing people make that kind of expenditure into something that is going to, knowingly be a 70 and then not sell that well.
No, but then you have the smaller teams like the Journeys that can come out now, and I hope in the next gen with digital platforms you can have, a $5 or $10 game that you can download, and it's going to be fascinating. Now these machines just need to get announced so we can start hearing more about what they're going to do. And coming up next week in the bonus round, we're going to turn our attention to Sony, talk about how much life is left in the Vita and what we can hopefully expect in the next PlayStation.
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.